The human scout ship Aurora Trail moved slowly through the silent debris cloud. Broken metal, dark dust, and strange glowing stones drifted in the cold space around the ship. The crew watched the view with worry. This place felt wrong. Even the ship's AI spoke in a softer tone, as if it also sensed danger. Commander Hale stood at the center of the bridge, arms crossed. He was a calm man, but today something pressed on his mind. The ship had picked up a strange signal, soft, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. It came from deep inside the debris, and it did not match any known creature or machine. Hale wanted to turn away, but curiosity pushed him forward. Humans were explorers by nature, and he was no different. Slow to half speed, he ordered. Engineer Raina Cole checked her screens. Her brown hair was tied up, her eyes sharp and focused. "Half speed set," she said. "Signal is getting stronger. It almost feels alive." Raina's words made the bridge go quiet. Alive? Out here? That idea sent a chill through the crew. Nothing should live in this dead zone. The ship's sensors began to beep. Pilot Jonas leaned closer to his console. "Commander, I found the source," he said slowly. "It's an egg?" Hale blinked. "An egg? Out here?" "Yes," Jonas said. "Floating alone, but glowing with some kind of internal energy." Raina looked at the screen and gasped softly. The egg was bright blue, smooth as glass, and pulsing like a tiny star. Every few seconds, it sent out a gentle wave of light, almost like it was calling for someone. No one spoke for a moment. The entire crew felt something strange inside their chests, fear mixed with wonder, like they had discovered something sacred. "Bring it in," Hale said at last, though his voice carried a hint of doubt. "But handle it with care. I don't want surprises." Two crew members in protective suits entered the airlock and used magnetic arms to bring the egg into a containment case. As soon as it crossed the threshold of the ship, the lights flickered. A soft hum filled the air, and everyone felt a light vibration under their feet. "It reacted to crossing into the ship," Raina said. Her tone was more curious than afraid. She always wanted to understand things, even dangerous ones. The egg was placed in the lab, floating gently inside the zero-gravity chamber. The pulsing light continued, steady and calm. But something else began to happen. Every time a human came close, the pulse grew stronger. When they stepped away, it softened. "It can sense us," Raina whispered. The idea seemed impossible, yet no one argued. The egg acted as if it knew they were there, as if it recognized human life. Jonas stepped back, rubbing his forehead. "I don't like this. It's too weird. And why is it alone? Where are its parents? Its species? Its home?" "We will find out," Hale said, though even he did not sound confident. Hours passed as the crew studied the egg. Sensors tried to scan its inside, but the shell blocked every single attempt. It was like looking into a stone. They could not tell what kind of creature rested inside, or how close it was to hatching. At midnight ship time, Raina stayed alone in the lab, taking notes on her tablet. The egg glowed softly, casting blue light across the room. "You're awake in there, aren't you?" she whispered. The egg pulsed, brighter than before, as if answering. Raina froze. She felt warmth in the air, a gentle warmth that touched her skin like a soft hand. A strange feeling filled her chest. She felt seen. Somehow. Then, without warning, cracks formed across the surface of the egg. Raina jumped to her feet. "Commander! The egg, it's hatching!" Hale and several crew members rushed into the lab. Blue light spilled from the shell. The crack spread, the pulse quickened, and a sharp sound echoed like breaking glass. The top of the egg fell open. Inside was a tiny creature, bigger than a kitten, covered in silver blue scales. Its wings were soft and folded, and its eyes shone like small suns. It was a dragon, a tiny dragon, and before anyone could react, it climbed out of the egg, crawled up Reyna's arm, and curled up gently on her back. As if choosing her, the crew could only stare. Stunned. Then the ship alarm began to scream. Message appeared on the screen. Return. The hatchling. ORB destroyed. The tiny dragon rested lightly on Reyna's back as if it had always belonged there. Its small claws did not scratch her skin. Instead, they held her gently, like a child holding a parent. Warmth spread through her shoulders and down her spine, calming her heart even while the ship's alarm continued to ring. Commander Hale turned off the alarm and stepped closer, but slowly, careful not to scare the creature. "Reyna, it chose you." Reyna stood very still. She could feel the dragon's tiny breaths on her neck. "I don't know why," she whispered. "I didn't do anything." But the dragon's tail curled around her arm, almost like it was hugging her. When Hale took one more step, the dragon made a soft chirp, high, sharp, and full of warning. "Easy," Hale said, holding up his hands. "We're not here to hurt you." The dragon blinked its bright golden eyes at him. It seemed to understand the commander's tone. The warning chirp faded, and it pressed its head against Reyna's shoulder instead, as if to reassure itself she was still there. Jonas, who had been watching from near the door, shook his head in disbelief. "It acts like it knows her, like it already trusts her more than anyone. And we don't know anything about it," Holly said. "Not what it eats, not what species it is, not why someone is threatening us for it." The message was still on the screen. Return the hatchling. ORB destroyed. Reyna felt the dragon shift its weight, almost like it sensed fear in the room. She gently placed her hand on its small head. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're safe here." The dragon looked up at her with calm eyes, then let out a soft sound, a tiny purr, warm and soothing. The crew stared, wide-eyed. "It's responding to your emotions," Hale said. "That's impressive." And worrying. When Reyna moved to sit down on a nearby stool, the dragon clung to her shirt like it didn't want to lose contact. Even when she leaned forward, the creature adjusted its wings and tail so it wouldn't fall. "It won't leave her," Jonas murmured. "It's bonded. Some animals imprint on the first person they see. But this is different. This thing feels intelligent." "I can see that," Reyna said softly. She turned her head slightly, trying to look at the dragon resting on her back. "Hey there. You okay?" The tiny dragon stretched its neck forward and touched her cheek with the tip of its nose. A soft glow passed through its scales, faint but warm. Reyna flinched in surprise. "It did something," she said. "I felt calm, like it was sending emotion into me." Holly exchanged a worried glance with the medical officer. "We need to test your vitals. This creature could be affecting your body." Reyna shook her head. "It's not hurting me. I feel fine. Better than fine, actually." The doctor approached with a gentle hand. "I'm just going to scan you, all right?" But the moment he reached toward Reyna, the dragon hissed a sound far too strong for something so small. The air around it vibrated. A faint spark of blue light gathered under its tiny wings. "Stop," Reyna said quickly. "You're scaring it." The doctor froze. The dragon stopped hissing, but its tiny body remained tense. "It's protecting you," Hale said. "At all costs." Reyna slowly placed her hand on the dragon's back. "It's okay. He's not going to hurt me." The creature relaxed again, its wings lowering. The blue sparks faded. Jonas let out a long breath. If this little thing can produce energy like that already, imagine what it grows into. Hale nodded, the weight of the situation sinking deeper into his mind. Which means the threat outside isn't a bluff. Someone out there wants this hatchling badly. The ship lights dimmed as the AI spoke softly. "Commander Hale, the hostile fleet is moving closer. They are not responding to communication. They appear ready to fire." Reyna held the dragon closer, fear rising in her chest. The creature sensed it immediately and wrapped its tail gently around her arm again. Holly stepped forward. "Reyna, whatever this creature is, you're the one it trusts. Stay with it. Keep it calm. We'll try to buy time." But no one knew if time was enough. Outside, the enemy fleet grew larger on the screen. Inside, the tiny dragon pressed its warm head against Reyna's neck and let out a soft, trembling sound, one that felt almost like a plea. It did not want to be taken. And it had chosen its human dot. The enemy ships grew larger on the screen, dark shapes moving like hungry shadows across the stars. Their engines glowed a deep red, and every movement looked sharp and angry, as if the ships themselves were alive. The crew of the Aurora Trail felt the pressure in their chests. It was the kind of fear that made the air feel heavy. Commander Holly stood in the center of the bridge, jaw tight. "Open a channel. Let's hear what they want." The communication officer nodded. Static filled the speakers, then a harsh voice cut through the noise. It was cold and sharp, like metal scraping across glass. "Humans, you carry what is not yours. Return the hatchling, now." Everyone froze. They had been hoping the threat earlier was a mistake, some kind of false signal. But now the truth stood right in front of them. Someone knew exactly what was on their ship. Reyna held the tiny dragon close as she stepped onto the bridge. It had wrapped its tail around her arm again, and its small claws held her shirt gently. The dragon's golden eyes were wide, and its little body trembled at the sound of that voice. "It's scared," Reyna whispered. She touched its head softly, and the creature pressed closer to her. Holly kept his eyes on the screen. "Identify yourselves." There was a long pause. Then the voice answered, "We are Zathri. We are Zathri. Keep the starborn air, and your species will be wiped out." Jonas muttered under his breath. "Starborn air? What does that even mean?" The voice continued, as if hearing him. "You have taken a child of the Lightwing line, a royal line. A weapon born from stars. It belongs to us." Reyna's grip tightened. "A weapon?" she whispered. "This little thing?" As if sensing her worry, the tiny dragon chirped softly, a sad little sound that made her heart twist. Commander Holly stepped forward, voice firm. "This hatchling came to us without parents, without protection. It bonded with our crew, especially with this engineer. We won't hand it over without answers." The voice hissed in anger, a sound that vibrated the speakers. The hatchling bonded with a human? Impossible. It must be corrected. Return it, or we will take it by force. Reyna swallowed. "Commander, I don't think they want to protect it. They sound like they want to control it." The dragon lifted its tiny head and looked at her. For the first time, its scales glowed faintly, not bright, but warm, like a flame just starting to grow. Reyna felt a gentle wave of courage pass through her, as if the creature was telling her she wasn't alone. Holly nodded. "I agree. Their tone tells me this is not about safety. It's about power." Jonas leaned over his console. "Commander, more ships are arriving. Dozens." The crew fell silent. A growing fleet filled the space outside, tightening the circle around the Aurora Trail. The Zathri were preparing to trap them. Suddenly, the tiny dragon let out a weak sound, not a cry, but something sadder, deeper. Reyna gently touched its wings. "What is it?" she whispered. The dragon rested its head on her shoulder, as if listening to the approaching danger. Then its eyes narrowed, not in fear, but in something that looked like strong emotion. It understood the threat. The Zathri ship sent one last message. "Return the air. You have 1 hour to comply." The channel cut out. Silence filled the bridge until Holly finally spoke. "We need answers. Why does that creature matter so much? And why did it bond with a human?" Reyna hugged the small dragon close. "Maybe Maybe it chose us because it needed someone who cared. Someone who wouldn't use it. Jonas nodded slowly. If the Zathri see it as a weapon, then we know who the real threat is. The ship's AI interrupted, voice calm but urgent. Commander Hale, the Zathri appear to be charging weapons. Reyna felt the dragon press its forehead against her neck. A soft glow spread from its scales again, like a tiny heartbeat of light. She whispered, "It's okay. I won't let them take you." The dragon's wings twitched, and for a moment, its whole body shone faintly. Commander Hale took a deep breath. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. They want to fight? They'll have to get through us first. The crew hurried to their stations. The tiny dragon lifted its head once more, staring at the stars beyond the window. Its eyes glowed not with fear, but with something ancient and deep, as if it remembered something. Something the humans did not yet understand. And outside, the Zathri fleet moved closer. The Aurora Trail moved through space like a small fish fleeing from a swarm of sharks. The Zathri fleet followed close behind, their ships glowing with cruel red light. Every passing second felt heavier, as if the ship carried not just a tiny dragon, but the weight of an entire war. Commander Hale stood at the front of the bridge. His voice was steady, but the tightness in his jaw showed the truth. He was worried. "Hold course," he said. "Keep shields up. Don't fire unless they do." Reyna sat near the engineering console with the small dragon curled around her shoulders. Its warm body pressed gently against her neck, and she could feel its quick, nervous breaths. She stroked its tiny wings with careful fingers. "Stay with me," she whispered. "We will get through this." The creature made a soft chirp, trying to be brave for her. Jonas watched the radar screen. "Commander, the Zathri are charging weapons, and they're not slowing down." Holland nodded grimly. "I expected that. Ready shields." But even with shields raised, the Aurora Trail looked like a fragile toy compared to the fleet behind it. One blast from those ships could break them in half. The ship shook violently as the first warning shot hit their rear shields. Lights flickered, metal groaned, and the dragon tensed on Reyna's back, letting out a frightened sound. "They're serious," Jonas said. "That wasn't a scare shot. They're testing our strength." Another blast struck, a brighter, hotter strike that rattled the whole deck. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Reyna grabbed the dragon protectively, shielding it with her arms. The eye spoke calmly, almost too calmly. "Rear shields at 62%. Holly exhaled slowly. "We cannot outrun them. And we cannot survive a direct battle." Reyna held the dragon close. She whispered, "Please. Please stay calm." But the creature was shaking. Its scales flickered with unstable light. It buried its small head against Reyna's neck, scared, confused, wanting comfort. A third blast hit the ship, harder than the others. The floor lurched beneath them. Reyna fell to her knees, clutching the dragon. Hale grabbed the railing to stay upright. Then something strange happened. As Reyna struggled to rise, the dragon lifted its head. Something deep in its golden eyes changed like a spark waking in darkness. Its scales glowed brighter and brighter, until it looked like a tiny sun sitting on her shoulder. "Reyna!" Jonas shouted. "It's doing something." The dragon spread its small wings, even though they were not yet strong enough for flight. Light pooled under them, swirling like warm mist. Reyna felt heat spread across her back, gentle, soothing, powerful. She whispered, "It's trying to protect us." The Zathri fired again. But this time, no impact came. The bridge stayed still. The alarm stayed silent. Hale blinked. "What happened?" The AI answered, voice confused for the first time. "Unknown. But a shield has formed around the ship. Not ours. Something external." Reyna looked down at the dragon. It hovered slightly above her shoulder now, held up by soft glowing energy. Its little chest rose and fell quickly, as if the effort was great. A bright dome of light appeared on the screen, surrounding the Aurora Trail like a giant shining bubble. The Zathri blast hit it, then scattered like dust. Jonas stared with wide eyes. That thing created a force field. A real one. And it's massive. The dragon let out a tired chirp, then lowered itself back onto Reyna. She caught it in her hands before it fell. Its glow dimmed to a faint shimmer. "It's exhausted," she said. That took everything. But even tired, the dragon curled into her palms, trusting her completely. Holly stepped closer, voice filled with awe. "This creature, this hatchling, just saved all our lives." For a moment, the bridge stayed quiet, filled with nothing but the soft hum of the dragon's fading glow. Then the AI broke the silence. "Commander, the Zathri fleet has stopped firing. They appear confused." Jonas nodded. "They didn't expect this. They thought the hatchling was still too young to use its power." Reyna held the dragon close, whispering gently, "You protected us. Thank you." The dragon made a tiny sound, half a purr, half a sigh. Commander Halle looked out the window at the Zathri ships. "They won't stop now," he said. "They know what the hatchling can do. They'll come harder." He turned toward the crew, eyes sharp with new determination. "But now we know something too." Reyna looked up. "What's that, Commander?" Halle answered softly, firmly, "That little dragon is worth protecting. And we will not give it up." Outside, the Zathri ships began to move again. Inside, the tiny dragon slept in Reyna's hands, exhausted, but no longer helpless. The protective light around the Aurora Trail slowly faded as the tiny dragon slept. What had looked bright and strong only moments ago now shimmered like dying embers. Reyna could feel the little creature's heartbeat through her hands, fast, weak, and uneven. It pushed itself too far. She whispered. Commander Halle watched the readings on the screen. It was only a hatchling, and it created a shield big enough for our whole ship. It must have drained nearly all its energy. The Zathri fleet floated outside the dome of stars. They did not move, but their silence felt heavy and sharp, like the pause before a predator strikes again. Jonas checked his console with shaking fingers. "Commander, 3 more Zathri ships just arrived. They're forming a full ring around us. If we try to escape, they'll block every path." Halle exhaled slowly. "So they're trapping us. They want to force our hand." Reyna looked at the sleeping dragon. Its wings twitched slightly, as if dreaming of something painful. She brushed a gentle hand along its scales. "They won't get you," she whispered. "Not while I'm here." But even as she said it, fear pulled at her heart. The ship lights flickered. The eye spoke softly. "Commander Halle, energy levels are low. Shield generator is damaged. Engines are overheating. We cannot enter warp without risk of explosion." Jonas groaned. "Great, we can't fight. We can't run. We can't hide." Reyna stood up slowly, holding the dragon against her chest. "We're not giving up." Halle turned toward her. "We won't, but we must think clearly. The Zathri are preparing something. I can feel it." Outside, one of the larger Zathri ships began to glow brighter. Its front cannon opened like a giant metal flower, revealing a swirling vortex of red energy. Reyna's breath caught. That looks like a boarding beam." Jonas nodded grimly. "They don't want to destroy us. They want the hatchling alive. And us out of the way," Halle added. The crew fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant, that the Zathri were coming. The ship trembled as a long, slow vibration passed through its hull. The AI confirmed it. "Warning. The enemy is preparing to attach boarding anchors." Halle stepped forward. "Everyone to defensive stations. We hold them off as long as we can. Reyna clutched the dragon tighter. It stirred weakly, opening one tired golden eye. When it saw her afraid, it tried to lift its head but could not. She whispered, stroking its back. Save your strength. The dragon pressed its forehead into her palm. A faint glow warmed her skin, almost like a thank you. The crew moved quickly but without panic. They trusted Halle. They trusted each other. And now they felt responsible for the tiny creature that had saved their lives. Jonas loaded emergency drones. The doctor prepared makeshift barriers. Even the eye dimmed non-essential lights to save power. But nothing could hide the truth. Time was almost gone. Halle approached Reyna. His voice was low. If they board the ship, they'll come straight for you. They know the hatchling is bonded to you. Reyna nodded. Then I won't leave it. He placed a hand on her shoulder, gentle but firm. I'm not asking you to leave it. I'm asking you to be ready. We may need to hide. Or run. Or do something desperate. Reyna's gaze hardened. Commander. This little dragon chose me. I'm not running from that. Halle looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Understood. Suddenly, the ship shook hard. Alarms blared. They fired the anchors. Jonas shouted. They're pulling us in. A bright red beam locked onto the Aurora trail. Metal screamed as the enemy ship dragged them closer like prey caught in a net. Brace! Halle ordered. Reyna shielded the dragon with her body. It let out a weak cry, sensing the danger even through its exhaustion. The lights flickered wildly. The floor vibrated. The doctor's equipment toppled over. Then, a sharp grinding sound echoed through the halls. The Zathri were boarding. Hale's voice rose above the alarms. All crew defensive positions. Protect the hatchling at all costs. Reyna held the dragon close, whispering, I won't let them take you. Not now, not ever. The dragon's eyes flickered with a faint spark of gold. Even exhausted, even drained, it tried to lift its wing. As if telling her, it would fight too. Outside the sealed door, the sound of metal claws scraping began. The Zathri were here. And the humans were running out of time. The sound of metal claws scraping along the outer hallway grew louder. Each scrape echoed through the ship like a countdown. The crew of the Aurora Trail stood tense behind makeshift barricades, nothing more than furniture, loose panels, and emergency shields. They were outmatched, outnumbered, and almost out of time. Reyna held the tiny dragon close to her chest. It was still weak from creating the massive shield, and its breathing was quick and shallow. Its scales glowed only the slightest hint of gold soft dim, but still alive. Commander Halle moved quickly through the room, checking every position. Hold your ground, he said. Zathri soldiers won't stop until they reach the hatchling. We can't let that happen. Jonas tightened the grip on his blaster. We're not losing this ship. Not after everything. The lights flickered again. The air shifted. A long, sharp crack echoed from the far entrance. The first boarding doors snapped open. A tall Zathri warrior stepped inside. Its armor looked like black bone, and its 4 glowing eyes locked immediately under Reyna and the dragon. Behind it, more shadows moved, more soldiers preparing to enter. Reyna whispered, Stay calm. Please stay calm. But the tiny dragon shivered. Its tail wrapped around her wrist. It sensed danger strong, deadly danger, and its small heartbeat thumped fast against her hand. The Zathri warrior hissed a word in its own language, harsh and sharp. The translator struggled but gave a rough meaning, return. The air. The creature took a step forward. Halle raised his weapon. Not a chance. The Zathri lunged. Chaos erupted. The crew fired their weapons. Bright blue beams shot across the room, hitting the creature but barely slowing it down. It hissed again, raising one clawed hand to strike. Reyna backed away, clutching the dragon. She tried to shield it with her body, but the Zathri warrior was faster than any human. Jonas jumped forward to stop it, but the warrior slammed him aside with one arm. He hit the wall hard and fell, gasping for breath. "Jonas!" Reyna cried. The Zathri turned back toward her. The dragon let out a tiny broken sound, a plea. A warning. A cry for help. Then its glow flickered. Reyna felt warmth spread under her fingers. The dragon's breath steadied. Its eyes opened wide, no longer tired, no longer dim. For the first time since hatching, they burned with fierce gold light. "Reyna!" Holly shouted. "Hold it, something's happening." She could feel it too. The warmth grew hotter. The air around the little dragon trembled. The tips of its wings lifted, glowing brighter and brighter. Reyna slowly placed it on her shoulder. The dragon stood wobbly, but determined. The Zathri leaped toward them. The dragon roared. The sound was small, tiny, even, but it forced everyone to freeze. A pulse of bright, golden energy burst from the little creature's chest. Spreading like a shockwave through the hallway. It passed through the humans gently, like warm wind, but when it hit the Zathri, their bodies convulsed. Their armor cracked. Their weapons fizzled. The leading warrior hit the ground with a heavy thud. Stunned and unable to rise, the others staggered, falling back in panic. "Impossible!" One Zathri cried as its translator sputtered. "A hatchling cannot do this." The dragon spread its wings wider. Light poured from each scale. It hovered above Reyna's shoulder, glowing like a small star returning to life. Holly stared in awe. "It's awake, and it's choosing to defend us." The dragon let out another sharp cry, and the remaining Zathri soldiers stumbled back toward the damaged door, dragging their fallen leader. They scrambled out of the ship, retreating in fear. A deep metallic clang echoed as the boarding hatch sealed again behind them. The room grew quiet. Reyna fell to her knees, shaking. The dragon landed gently in her hands, exhausted again, but still glowing faintly with victory. You saved us," she whispered. Tears gathered in her eyes, not of fear this time, but of overwhelming gratitude. The dragon pressed its forehead into her palm, giving a soft purr. Commander Holly knelt beside her. "That wasn't just instinct," he said. "It knew exactly who to protect." Jonas, still catching his breath, managed a weak smile. "That little thing has bigger courage than any of us." Reyna held the dragon close, heart pounding. "It wasn't just power," she said softly. "It felt what we felt. It reacted to protect us, because it wanted to." The ship AI spoke, voice steady again. "Commander, the Zathri fleet is withdrawing to a safe distance. They appear shaken." Holly nodded slowly. "Good, but this isn't over. They'll return with a plan." He looked at the tiny dragon, now resting peacefully in Reyna's arms. "But now we know something important," he said. Reyna looked up. "What's that?" Hale's voice was firm, proud. "That hatchling is not a weapon. It's a friend. And humans protect their friends." Outside, the Zathri ships retreated. Inside, the dragon's light flickered softly, no longer afraid. Humanity had earned its trust. The Zathri fleet drifted far behind the Aurora Trail. Small and distant now, like a swarm of angry insects forced back by something stronger than fear. Their ships no longer glowed with attack lights. Instead, they kept a careful distance, as if the tiny dragon, blowing softly in Reyna's arms, had become something they dared not challenge again. But no one on the human ship felt safe. Not yet. Commander Hiley ordered a full lockdown. "No one relax," he said as the crew secured systems and checked for damage. "The Zathri may retreat, but they are not gone. They will wait, watch, and look for weakness." Reyna held the little dragon close to her chest as she walked into the medbay. Its body was warm, but too warm, like it was fighting exhaustion deep inside. She sat on the edge of a bed and stroked its tiny wings. The creature blinked slowly at her, golden eyes soft and trusting. "I know you're tired," she said gently, "but you were amazing. You saved us, again." The dragon chirped, a small sound that almost sounded embarrassed. It pressed its forehead against her chin, and she smiled despite the fear still twisting in her stomach. The doctor approached quietly. "May I scan it now?" he asked with a sympathetic smile. "I'll be careful. I promise." For the first time, the dragon did not hiss. Instead, it looked up at Raina as if asking for her opinion. She nodded. "It's okay. He won't hurt you." The tiny creature allowed the doctor to scan it. The results were worrying. "It used more energy than its body could handle," the doctor said. "It needs rest, and someone it trusts close by. Its bond with you seems to help stabilize it." Raina looked down at the little creature sleeping again. "Then I'll stay with it," she said simply. Holly entered the medbay, his expression softer than usual. "How is our small hero?" "Just tired," Raina replied. "But safe." Holly nodded. "Good, because we have a decision to make, and it won't be easy." Raina straightened. "What decision?" The commander lowered his voice. "We can't take the hatchling back to human space. If the Zathari follow, it could lead them straight to our colonies. Millions of lives would be at risk. But we can't give it to them," Raina said firmly, clutching the dragon. "No," Holly agreed. "We will not hand it over. We protect those who choose us." Raina looked down at the tiny sleeping dragon. It breathed slowly, peacefully now, tiny chest rising and falling like a soft drum. She whispered, "It trusted us first." "That means something." Holly nodded again. "Exactly. So we make a new path. Away from the Zathari. Away from danger. A place where the hatchling can grow. And where we can learn who it is meant to become." Raina blinked. "Where?" The commander exhaled. "Deep space. Beyond mapped territory. Somewhere quiet, somewhere forgotten. We'll search for clues about its species. We'll teach it. And we'll keep it safe." Jonas stepped into the medbay at that moment. A grin stretched across his bruised face. "So basically, we're adopting a space dragon and going on a road trip across the galaxy." Raina couldn't help but laugh. The dragon stirred at her laughter, and even in sleep, its tail curled gently around her wrist. Hale's eyes warmed. "We didn't choose this mission, but we will honor it." Suddenly, the ship's voice echoed through the speakers. "Commander, Zathari message incoming." Raina stiffened. "Another threat?" "No," the AI answered. "A warning." Holly motioned for the message to appear. The screen lit up with the cold face of a Zathari officer. His 4 eyes narrowed, but his tone had lost some of its earlier cruelty. "Humans, you have awakened something ancient. You do not understand its power. When it grows, it will reshape the stars. We will return for it. This is not over." The channel cut. Silence filled the room again. Jonas muttered, "Yeah, well, they can try. They'll have to go through us." Raina held the dragon a little tighter. "Let them come," she whispered. "We'll show them what humans do for those who choose us." Holly placed a hand on her shoulder. "Set a course," he said quietly but proudly. "We begin a new journey today." The ship engines hummed to life. Stars stretched into long streaks of silver and blue. The Aurora Trail leapt into the unknown. And in Raina's arms, the tiny dragon opened its eyes just long enough to see the swirling stars ahead, then closed them again, trusting its human completely. A new chapter had begun, together.